Alright guys, let's talk about what's going on in Cuba right now because this is really important and I want to shed as much awareness as I possibly can on all of my platforms because I'm not seeing enough people talk about this. Cuban citizens have been living under an authoritarian dictatorship for the past 61 years and have been oppressed by their own government for that long. Cuban citizens don't have the same rights that other people do across the world. They don't have basic human rights. They don't have the right to vote. They don't have freedom of speech. They don't have the basic necessities that us people have and are fortunate enough to have in other places. They're currently undergoing a famine that's been going on for pretty much around 60 years, give or take. Those of you that don't know me well or don't know me at all, I was born in Cuba. My family and I fled 14 years ago as political refugees because my dad would peacefully protest about the fact that they didn't have basic human rights back then. And because of that, people in Cuba don't have the freedom of speech where you can just go talk about that. My dad was in house arrest for 2 years and the Cuban government pretty much wanted to off my dad, and we were granted asylum by the United States and were rescued and taken out of Cuba due to that 14 years ago. This is something that I lived firsthand and something that my family lived through firsthand. My family used to give up meals so I could eat living in Cuba, just to give you an idea of some of the things that we encountered and lived through while living there. My parents used to drink water with sugar to cut hunger. That was just the way things were. And people are conditioned to think that is normal over there when it's not. I also want to clarify, this is not an embargo issue. The Cuban government is not going to accept any help. There's so many organizations that have tried to send supplies and food, things like that. The U.S. embargo won't send things to Cuba, but it's not going to happen either way because the Cuban government does not want to help its own people. That's just the way things are, and they're not going to change. We need humanitarian intervention at this point, and that's why we've been urging politicians and officials, the president, to intervene and to help the situation. But unfortunately, right now, nothing has changed. Nothing is being done, which is why we're trying to spread as much awareness and shed light on what's going on in Cuba, because obviously it is a very small island. There's not that many of us, but with the power of social media, a lot of things can be done. You guys can change what's going on right now. So if you guys can take some time out of your day, read up on what's going on. There's so many things that I've been posting on my Instagram stories, and I'll continue to be sharing what's going on. But if you guys can share this with your friends and talk about it, have conversations, I would be really grateful. And I just wanted to shed some light on what's going on right now.